The wind along Gilgo Beach sounded empty that winter morning in 2010, until a police dog suddenly stopped. Buried deep in the sand was a body wrapped in burlap, then another and another. Within days, investigators uncovered a hidden graveyard stretching across the Long Island coastline. 11 human remains would eventually be discovered. Some victims had vanished years earlier, and somewhere in the darkness of New York, a serial killer was still free. Most of the victims were young women working through online escort ads. They disappeared after meeting unknown clients, often late at night. Cars were abandoned, phones went silent. But what terrified investigators most was how carefully the killer erased every trace. Whoever did this understood police procedure, timing, and geography. The bodies were scattered across isolated marshland only locals would know well. One victim, 24-year-old Melissa Barthélemy, vanished after leaving New York City for a client meeting. Days later, her younger sister received horrifying phone calls from Melissa's phone. The caller sounded calm, almost amused. He mocked the family and described violence in disturbing detail before hanging up. Investigators traced the calls to crowded Manhattan locations designed to avoid detection. The killer wasn't panicking, he was playing with them. As detectives dug deeper, patterns emerged. Most victims were petite women in their 20s. Several had advertised services online shortly before disappearing. Their remains were found along Ocean Parkway, a lonely road bordered by dense brush and cold Atlantic wind. But then the investigation took a darker turn. Some remains appeared much older than the others. Different victims, different timelines, possibly different killers. Suddenly, the case became even more terrifying than anyone imagined. Rumors spread across Long Island. Some believed the killer was a wealthy local businessman. Others suspected law enforcement connections because of how long the murders went undetected. Former police officials faced corruption scandals unrelated to the murders, adding even more suspicion to an already chaotic investigation. Meanwhile, families of the victims accused authorities of ignoring the disappearances because many victims were escorts. Public anger exploded. How could so many women vanish without urgency? Then came one of the strangest details in the entire case. Several victims were carefully wrapped in burlap before burial. Experts believed this showed planning and ritual-like behavior. The killer may have revisited dumping sites repeatedly over years. Investigators searched the beaches with cadaver dogs, helicopters, and ground-penetrating equipment. Every new discovery created another wave of fear. People living nearby wondered if they had unknowingly crossed paths with a serial killer at gas stations, stores, or quiet neighborhood streets. For years, the case seemed frozen. Endless theories filled television documentaries and online forums. Amateur investigators mapped timelines and phone records. Some believed there were multiple killers working independently. Others believed one organized predator committed every murder. The uncertainty became part of the nightmare. No arrest, no closure, only silence stretching across the shoreline where the bodies were found. Then, more than a decade later, investigators announced a major breakthrough. Using cell phone records, vehicle data, and advanced DNA technology, authorities focused on a local architect named Rex Human. Witness descriptions connected a dark pickup truck to one victim's disappearance. Prosecutors claim hairs found on victims matched family DNA linked to the suspect. The arrest shocked Long Island residents. Neighbors described him as quiet, ordinary, even forgettable. But the mystery still refuses to disappear completely. Human has denied involvement, and many investigators believe additional victims may still remain undiscovered. Questions continue haunting the case. Was there truly only one killer? How many crimes remain hidden beneath the sand? And how did someone allegedly operate for years beside one of America's largest cities without being stopped? Even today, Gilgo Beach feels different after sunset. Endless stretches of wind, dark highway pavement, and crashing Atlantic waves have become symbols of one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries. Because despite arrests, evidence, and years of investigation, many families still don't fully know what happened to the people they lost. And somewhere in the cold silence of Long Island, the unanswered questions remain buried.